This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. The youth of the Bahamas got a chance to share their thoughts on the effects of climate change at COP27 as they led delegates in a discussion themed Empowering Caribbean Youth in the Climate Space. What is our future in the space or in the face of climate disasters? Take a listen as the brightest young minds speak on how youth in the Bahamas can play a part in the fight against climate change.
I see us playing a more dynamic role in the climate change fight. Events like this truly are a testament to it, that we have within our country a growing and substantial amount of young people that are willing to take on the mantle and fight for what is necessary to ensure that they have a country to grow up in the next 10 to 20 years. Platforms, organizational connections, as well as educational platforms will continue to foster these connections and commitments within the younger generations as we truly transition into the next generation of climate change activists and fighters within organizational platforms and governmental settings.
16-year-old Kaja Knowles shared her experiences of climate change while living on Mayaguana with her grandparents, who are primarily subsistence farmers, bringing awareness to the challenges residents on that island face with climate change.
It's too hot, you can't go outside and say, okay, I will go outside and plant this or plant that, because even if you do, the plants are withering and the seasons are longer and the crop is smaller, so it's harder. And then with that, they're old and they depend on the boat and other means of transportation because we're so far from the capital. So when this transportation is delayed, we have no way of getting food. Just 3 weeks ago, we had a water shortage in Mayaguana because the boat didn't come. And the people we have to use what we have, and some of the wells in Mayaguana is not drinkable. So it's really hard, and I think we need to raise more awareness about it because some of the people in the Bahamas doesn't even know about the effects it has on being. So it's a different perspective from.
Youth Climate Ambassador Bradley Watson brought up creative ways youth in the nation can spread the awareness of climate change.
And I think that coming into this climate space, we have the potential to apply every skill that we have, every talent and every passion that we see to this fight. So you can come at it from an art perspective, you can come at it as an accountant and thinking about how do we manage these funds and multiply those funds. You can come into this space as a scientist and find new ways that we can innovate to allow ourselves to live for as long as possible in the places we love. And then if you come at it from a legal aspect, you can now negotiate ways for us to continue our existence in this world, whether in the Bahamas or outside of the Bahamas, because potentially we will have to migrate. So there are things that you must do to tailor your skills to this climate fight.
In the past year, the government of the Bahamas has provided a vital platform for its youth to advance climate action. And now these young Bahamians have carved out a space for their voices and the voices of youth across the Caribbean in the international climate space. The number of people in need of support post-COVID pandemic has increased, according to Bahamas Red Cross Director General Alicia Pinder, who believes the number has increased approximately 30%. She says the nonprofit organization has been able to garner some support internationally. However, when the COVID funding ended, the foundation struggled to maintain some of its food assistance programs. Speaking with Jcn News, Bahamas Red Cross Director General Pinder gives these details.
We have seen more persons who want us to add them onto our meals programs, not just temporarily, long-term, or our monthly food parcels programs. Those are individuals where they can cook for themselves or they have family members, but they just do not have the amount of food to carry them through the period. And we assist individuals. We work along with other organizations like Urban Renewal that identify individuals in need, and we give them either parcels or packages. The thing that we hate most is when we identify a need and we cannot actually supply it.
Director General Pinder says the Bahamas Red Cross does not wish to see a break in providing food assistance to those in need, not wanting entities that provide donations to think that they no longer need the assistance. She added that when the needs of the community increases, the Red Cross feels the effect because there is an increase in demand for help.
Locally, we try to get individuals to remember those persons who may have not gotten back on their feet because of unemployment, because of illnesses, all of those things that came about as a result of the downturn in the economy. So individuals who need assistance, this is one of the places that they would automatically come. We give emergency assistance, so social service will give long-term assistance, but that's a process. But for immediate needs, we find that people come to us, and hopefully we're able to assist them as best as we can.
In an effort to help themselves raise money, the Bahamas Red Cross is hosting a series of fundraising events. When asked how the COVID pandemic affected the Bahamas Red Cross, Mr. Pinder explained that they were not able to host any fundraising events for 2 years during the pandemic, which has left them at a deficit. Trainee Family Island administrators, prior to their positioning or posting, paid a courtesy call on Governor General Sir Cornelius A. Smith at the office of the Governor General on East Bay Street on Thursday. After 3 months of training, the new administrators will be relocating to various family islands and will have responsibility of managing the affairs on those islands. They will work closely with government agencies as their duties will encompass all facets of governmental operations. Some of the topics covered during training included mailboat services, board of surveyors, relations with family island engineers, building control, physical planning, among others. And finally, I know many of us are familiar with the Nassau grouper that comes in different shades of brown and white, or the spotted pink strawberry grouper, or even the spotted rock hind. But have you ever seen a spectacular looking golden grouper like the one caught by Eleuthera native Ione Kelly while line fishing on the big dock at Harbor Island? We asked Mrs. Kelly what were her thoughts when she first landed the golden grouper, and what made her decide to release it?
I thought I was pulling in a muttonfish or a gray snapper, but when I got it out of the water, I said, look at this, I got a goldfish. And I pulled him right out. I said, it looks like a grouper, but it's gold. The ferry boatmen and all those on the dock came running to see, and one gentleman said that they maybe over 30 years, he said that color grouper. He said, it's a grouper. I said, but it's gold. I said, but I don't think I'll like to eat it. It looked like a grouper and it looks very good. I said, but it's not growing up to size. I'm going to put it back and let him grow to size.
Before releasing the golden grouper, Mrs. Kelly took a few photos of it and shared with Jcn News, so we thought we would get an expert's opinion. We shared the photos with marine biologist Dr. Krista Sherman of the Perry Institute for Marine Sciences, and who recently led a 9-year study on the decline in parrotfish numbers. And we asked, what can she tell us about this rare golden grouper?
So the yellow grouper, or the golden grouper that you sent me, it's actually called a coney. It's one of the smaller species of grouper that we have in the Bahamas. There are actually 3 different, I guess you would call them, varieties of the coney. So there's one that's uniform in color with spots, and it has the 2 black markings on the lip. And then there's the golden phase one that also has those spots and that marking on the lip. And then there's one that is sort of bicolored, which kind of reddish on the top and then white on the bottom. So we do have those throughout the country. They're beautiful when you do see them because the color is quite brilliant, but nothing unusual.
For those of you who want to learn more about the different species of grouper that we have here in the Bahamas, Dr. Sherman suggests you visit the Perry Institute for Marine Sciences website, because they recently developed a poster titled Groovy Groupers of the Bahamas, where you can learn more about their species and conservation status. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jcn Saunders. Thanks for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.